Hello and welcome to As Built, the podcast from Graphic Machine about architecture firms and buildings and how both are built. I'm your co-host, Patience Jones. With me is
Brian Jones,
your other esteemed co-host. So today's episode deals with obsession. When is obsession with your competition healthy? And when is it not? Almost every firm has at least one competitor, and you probably don't like that, but that's a normal part of business. We would be hard pressed to think of anything that wasn't niched down to one potential prospect that didn't have at least one competitor. Whether and how you consider that competitor when making business decisions can run the gamut from, I don't even know who my competitors are, to checking up on them every single day. And as a business principle, we're taught that we should keep an eye on the competition. But at what point does that cross over into something that is not helpful? Is obsession with your competition healthy?
it can be, but with a strong caveat that it's more obsession light, like a side of obsession.
Obsession?
So I think for me, the constant checking in, the constant monitoring of who you perceive to be your competitors is frequently counterproductive and often leads you to a lot of information, and then you just end up stagnating and stalled because you can't process it all and you don't know what to make of it and how to deal with it. That's thing one.
It's just thing one.
Yeah.
What's thing two?
Thing two is, do you know who you are?
A very existential episode.
But really, because it's one of those situations where when you're looking at your competition, you're thinking like, okay, what are they doing and how are they doing it? What's effective? What's not effective? And kind of the subtext is, what could I be doing that's similar?
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really, really dicey in my mind, because that's you're allowing the entirety of your firm to be driven by external forces, and there are enough of those on you already, so you might as well take this opportunity to allow some internal forces to kind of drive the ship.
So true. I mean, we see that sometimes when, a firm wins an award, and the firm that didn't win the award is like, we need to redo our website so they look like that firm, and we need to redo our social so it sounds like that firm, and they have, this school district, so we need to get that school district. And it just turns your firm into a follow-on firm. To your point, doesn't really have its own identity. It's just another version of that first firm.
And, this kind of corporate jealousy is not uncommon, but it is something that can cripple your marketing efforts pretty soundly, if not kept in check.
I mean, a great example of that is there are lists, right? There's a bajillion different lists of different ways of measuring firms and qualifying them and quantifying them. And it's not unusual for a firm to become very upset that they weren't included on a list that their competitor was on, even if they don't qualify for that list. They don't work in that market, or they don't have as many employees, or they don't do that kind of work. But the fact that somebody else got on that list, then it drives them to do crazy things.
Yeah.
Like in one instance, expand by 40% because it was so important to them. They couldn't stand that this other firm had made the list of, fastest growing firms by employee hires. Oh my God, we have to be on that list. They didn't have the work to support it. They didn't have the office space. They didn't have the infrastructure. But by God, they were going to be on that list.
Yeah.
And it turned out disastrously. That kind of stuff, if they'd just been able to say, okay, yeah, they were on that list, it's fine. We'll be on another list, or we won't. It doesn't impact our business or who we're selling to or our ability to get projects.
Well, and you're bringing up, kind of highlighting in a big way the important part of what is good about keeping tabs on your competition, which is like, what is impacting your ability to get new jobs and business, and what isn't, because there are what I like to affectionately call vanity metrics, which are about your personal profile and don't impact your firm's ability to get work one whit. Then there are the ones that the clients are also paying attention to that do matter. So maybe on that list, I might say like, not like which particular publications or, how that you got published in, but it's more about the frequency. So maybe you notice over the course of 6 months that a firm got 6 articles or 6, publications. That's, really a lot of press for a particular firm. So maybe you notice like, oh, they've really been putting a lot of time towards that. I wonder, are we seeing them getting more jobs as a result of that? So it's like that kind of acknowledgement of like the relationship between the effort and what the outcome was for the firm can be healthy and helpful for your firm to understand. Is that something we should be investigating? And if so, how do we make it our own and not just a copy?
Exactly. And finding out from project owners and project partners, when you don't get a project, why?
Yeah. Ask.
Why did they decide to go with this other place? Sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't, but it's definitely worth asking. And if it's something that you can do something about, great. If the answer is, well, they were more price competitive, then that's a business decision, and you can decide if you're going to lower your prices in future projects. But if it's something like, well, we really thought they had a better depth of experience in X field, and that your firm has more experience, then that's really valuable, because you can look at how you're conveying and presenting your experience so that it's very clear that you have more experience and that you're qualified for the job.
And those follow-up interviews are critical when you do not get a job, to find out why. It's almost, I've never seen a place not be happy to provide that feedback, because you should be living and dying by that feedback, not by whether or not you perceive yourselves to be equivalent to another firm that you admire.
And let's not sugarcoat it. Asking for that feedback sucks.
Of course.
You already feel bad that you didn't get the project. You feel weird asking for it. Nobody likes to hear what they did wrong or what their shortcomings were. So the way that it sometimes can go easier is pretend you're asking for somebody else. And that will also help you depersonalize it, because what you don't want to do is ask the decision maker, why didn't you give me this job?
Yeah.
That's not how you want to come across. Or, I can't believe you made that decision. Our firm is better for this project. Yep. No, you have to go very pause down.
Also bad.
If you wouldn't mind, it would really help us, in our future business development, future projects, if you could share with me some of the reasons or the reason that you decided to go in this other direction.
Yep.
And sometimes saying other direction is good, because it helps the other person feel like you're not blaming them.
Yeah.
If they feel like you're going to yell at them, if they feel like you're going to sue them, they're not going to give you any information. No. So just be nice, be paused down, accept that you didn't get it, and this is just to help you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the obsession factor, it sometimes, I think one of the things that can be helpful to think about is like, have you really accurately identified those people who are your competitors? Because I think there's a, especially on the architecture side of things, you might have gone to school with somebody, you might have had a professional relationship with them, and you see them as a competitor, even though their firm is doing something completely different from what your firm is doing. And so really, truly identifying, have you found the people that are your competitors?
Yeah. The firm that's not taking any work from you doesn't work in your same markets or your same geography, doesn't hire people who worked for you. They're not really a competitor, but they may feel like it if you went to college with one of the principals and always have had a rivalry.
Sure.
Or, they're married to somebody that you used to date, or whatever the personal connection is. Don't get sidetracked by that. I mean, you want to spend your downtime, cyber stalking your firm.
Knock yourself out.
I mean, I don't think it's a good idea, but it's not, but focus on, okay, who really is in our space that we need to be kind of mindful of, or what names are we hearing from prospects or people that used to come to us and now they're going someplace else. Who are those people?
And I feel like the principle of plagiarism is one to keep in mind when thinking about your competition and what you do and how you it's like going in and saying, okay, they're doing this piece, we're going to do exactly the same piece, or try and do something equivalent. So what do you think the big takeaways are relative to competition?
I think understanding who your true competitors are, understanding how you're different from them, and focusing on growing your firm with those differentiators instead of tracking and following on everything that they're doing. That would be
I think those are really good takeaways.
Huzzah.
Yeah. I think the only thing is that maybe check in on, is the need to check in the first step in your process always before you consider what you're going to do next? And like, if that is, you may have hit that obsession point with your...
Oh, yeah. So if you're like, I don't know, should we update our web copy? Well, what is so-and-so firm doing? Should we join this organization? What is so-and-so doing? Yeah.
That would be that's my litmus test for this process. And that's my big takeaway for that.
Yeah. You can get into red stapler territory really fast that way.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Thank you for being obsessed with this podcast. We hope you are. We are obsessed with it. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.